Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. In the news, both Sulphur Springs and Cumbie school districts this week distributed a notice to their school families that the districts are at low risk for coronavirus. But the district staffs continue to track the situation through the local health department, the Texas Department of State Health Services, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Families, students, and staff and community members are encouraged to take the same steps to help protect against coronavirus as one would take to prevent the spread of everyday illnesses like the common cold or the flu. Those preventive steps include washing hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your mouth and nose with the inside of your elbow when you cough or sneeze. And clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. The only opposed county-level election in Hopkins County for Precinct 2 was close, but when the final unofficial tallies came in Tuesday night, John Brian Beadle had edged past Charles Humphreys with 51.45% of the Republican ballots cast in that May 3rd party primary election. When the early voting totals were in, only 28 votes separated the two Precinct 2 constable candidates, with Humphreys receiving 469 early votes and 23 absentee, to Beadle's 501 early votes and 19 absentee votes. That margin increased to 68 votes when the final tally was in, with Beadle receiving 1,204 votes to 1,136 for Humphreys. That was enough for Beadle to finish with 51.45% of the overall votes to Humphreys' 48.55%. There's no Democratic candidate for Precinct 2 constable for the Republican winner, Beadle, to face in the general election in November. And you can see KSSTradio.com for more voting totals for unopposed Hopkins County races. The Republican state representative in District 2 appears to be headed to a May runoff, although incumbent Dan Flynn finished 9.24% ahead of Brian Slayton and 14.18% ahead of Dwayne Doc Collins. None of the candidates received over 50% of the overall votes, according to the unofficial counts posted by the Secretary of State's office. Overall, Dan Flynn received 14,044 votes, or 44.47%, for the three counties that make up District 2. Slayton finished with 11.127 votes, or 35.23% of the overall votes cast. And Collins received 6,409 votes, or 20.29%, for the three counties. The winner of that election will face Democrat Bill Brannon in the general election in November. Brannon did not draw a challenger for the Democratic Party nomination for District 2 state representative. Brannon received 941 votes Tuesday, 266 in early voting, 121 absentee, and 554 on Election Day. In sports, the number 10 ranked Wildcats basketball team's season ended at a regional quarterfinal game against number 1 ranked Lancaster at Rockwall Heath Tuesday night. The Wildcats hung with the talented Tigers all night long before finally coming up short 44-38. After the game, I talked with Wildcats coach Clark Cipolletta.
Yeah, I mean, our kids just came out and battled. We followed the game plan, played hard. That's all you can ask.
They had just a little bit more, I guess.
They did. They're really talented. You can't take anything away from them. But a few plays here or there, don't go our way. But that's the difference of the game. And, I told the kids we're not going to let one loss define the incredible season we had and the incredible career our four seniors had. So just sometimes you come up short of life, but I couldn't be more proud of this group.
I was very impressed with the Lancaster coaching staff. They came up to a lot of your kids and were patting them on the chest and tell them they respected what they saw for a team that hung with them, within 5-6 points all game.
Yeah, they were very complimentary of us and the game plan going in. And I just thought our kids, just battled. So you have a team like that's just loaded and so talented and well coached at the same time. It makes things very difficult. And like I said, once again, our kids just battled, did everything they could.
Yeah, they really, I've never seen them extended so close to midcourt and by a defense like that. And, they were a tough group to penetrate, and yet we kept finding ways to hang around and stay close.
We did. We knew the game plan going in is kind of let them trap you and hopefully get it out the trap and try to make plays out of it. And, for a large part we did. And just got to finish a couple more plays. It might have been a little bit closer, but once again, that's just kind of how it goes.
Once again, their guards, as you knew, they kind of led the way. That big center was, he had to be close to 7 foot tall, looked like to me.
Yeah, he was a big kid. We knew they had two really good guards, and number 1 and number 4, and then 22 could really shoot it. So we just tried to key in on them and make somebody else beat us. And we knew they played really fast, and you just got to get back. And but you can't simulate that speed, and you can't simulate, that athleticism. And but I was proud of our guys, man. They stepped up and executed. Like I said, just came up short.
This hurts now, but as you think about this season, 28-9, and the way think about all the good things that happened in this great group that you had.
Yeah, but I told them, man, I was overly proud of them. I had amazing 4 years coaching those guys, and it's been one of the most bright spots in my life. And I just thank those guys for coming to work every day and giving me everything they had. They did.
And once again, a field Jim here from Sulphur Springs coming over to support you. And at the end of the game, they stood up and they saluted this Sulphur Springs team.
Yeah, we have the best crowd in the country. I put them up against anybody. They just support, win or loss. They're so supportive of these guys because they know how hard they work and always have our back. So, I just really appreciate you guys. I mean, there's tons that go into it that have supported us, have followed us over the years, and we just couldn't be more thankful.
Coach, thank you for changing the culture here and making it a basketball town, and to a great extent, especially during basketball season, and just keep it up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
The Wildcats ended the season with a record of 28-9, and that included 4 victories against ranked Class 6A teams. The Lady Cats soccer team got a big district road win Tuesday night, defeating Lindale 4-0. And I talked with Lady Cats coach Javier Aguayo.
First half, we dominated the game first half, but other than that, their defensive game was really good. Their defense was tight. At times they were defending with 8 and attacking with 2. So they had a game plan. Their game plan was to defend most of the game. And first half, I really didn't talk to the girls. I just kind of wanted to see, let them talk to each other and figure out what they needed to do, which they were doing at times. I was really proud of them. So they were doing that. They were having the ball, moving the ball from side to side. We had a couple of chances, just same as before, couldn't convert. And I tell them, hey, we got to take those chances. But other than that, we came back second half. So, 4 goals came in the second half. Which it was good. I think the talk during the half kind of helped out. We figured out how to break the defensive game. So we talked about it, and they did what I had to go to do second half, and they did it. So, yeah.
And Haley Robinson, a big part of that. Looked like she got a hat trick. 3 goals right in a row.
So she was happy, and it was a hat trick she scored last night, and of course also Ch.18 assisted for 3 goals. So I told her she was a assist king last night, or queen, I guess you want to call it. But yeah, Haley scored her 3 goals, and then Rebecca got the 4th goal at a rebound. I think it was Ch.18 actually shot it, and goalkeeper blocked it, and Rebecca came in and just put it in. So they were happy last night, and I told them, hey, just go out there and have fun and take care of business, and they did second half. Like I said, we did have to figure out how to break down the defensive game, which they did second half. We just reset the ball. We couldn't go up top anymore. We'd bring the ball back. At times we'd even play back to the keeper, let the keeper, stretch out the ball from side to side, and started playing those through gaps. We noticed that their left side was weak, so we started, hammering them down a little more on the left side. So that helped out a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Big game now. Friday you'll be at home. Mount Pleasant coming in. They beat you the first time, but now you get them back on the home field, and so big game for you.
Yeah, I think the girls are ready for that that rematch, that revenge. That's what they're calling it. But it's going to be a tough game. I mean, I think anytime you face Mount Pleasant, you don't know what to expect. You just have to go out there and play your game and play hard, especially against Mount Pleasant. Both boys and girls. I mean, I was with the boys last year. The boys they're aggressive players, and so are the girls, and they play the same way. Yeah.
And they'll probably remember that they came in last year and we beat them. It was a big win for this team.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Also, the girls, and of course, I saw a film, and the girls even talking about it last year. They lost one also last year, and then they came back, and we beat them here. So we're looking forward to that. Hopefully we get that win on Friday. All we can do now is just keep working hard and keep watching film and try to break that high press, because their high press is really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Lady Cats are now 5-2 in district play, and their season record is now 9-8-1. Wildcats baseball team won their regular season home opener Monday night 3-1 against North Lamar. We get more on that game from Wildcats coach Jared Hammock.
It wasn't pretty. Didn't swing the bats real well. Their kid was throwing pretty hard, and he was kind of wild. So we had a lot of swings and misses. We had a lot of walks. Had the bases loaded, I want to say at least 3 times in the game, and just couldn't get that, that big hit to score some runs. But we scratched out enough and got another really, really good pitching performance, which is what we've been kind of living on, which is good. Austin Krause, I thought, threw really well. Got to a limit that we were comfortable with and pulled him, and Hayden Hurst came in, and, I thought the guy was out at first base, but they called him safe, and he ended up scoring their only run. But again, as long as we're pitching that well and we can continue to do that, then we're capable of being in just about every game. But we do have to learn how to make some adjustments with pitcher speed and different things. We just didn't seem to catch up with their guys most of the night.
The interesting thing, 4 well-pitched ball games in your wins, and 4 different pitchers.
Yeah, we feel like we've got pretty good depth. Of course, we've got our 2 district starters back in Will Sims and Jackson Chaney, but we've had other guys contribute really, really well. Jake Davis threw a wonderful game against Waxahachie, and like I said, Krause threw really well, Monday night, and we've had others step in and contribute. Hurst at Lindale with the win, and then with the save Monday night. And again, there are others. So we feel like we've got pretty good depth. And again, that's nice. If you can only have one thing going for you early, it's pitching is what you would want. And we just got to continue to improve on defense behind them, because that's the other thing. We don't have a lot of necessarily strikeout guys. People are going to put it in play, but so we just have to make the plays behind them and figure out, again, ways to just scratch runs across. We're not particularly fast overall as a team. I do think we're capable of swinging the bats well. We're just a little behind, I think, which is, not – it's pretty typical of the early in the season, particularly when you hadn't been on your field and seen a lot of pitches from 60 feet. We do a lot of drill work indoors, but we really haven't seen a lot and missed 3 scrimmages, as you know. So, I think we're playing catch up in a lot of ways, swinging the bat, and timing is always the issue, and we'll get it figured out. And when we do, I think we'll swing the bats pretty well.
I was thinking about the game, and there were only a couple of hits that you mentioned, on the other hand, though, you talked about the walks. You had 7 walks, so guys were patient up there and taking enough pitches to get on base, and that was putting those runners on base.
Absolutely, and it's not always about batting average. Now, I would like to see us barrel more balls than we are. I mean, even the hits we're getting. We're not really just making good, solid contact. But, a lot of it is, of course, on-base percentage and any way that you can get on, whether it's by error, walk, hit batter, and I think we did do that. We had, like I said, base runners all over the place. It seemed like much of the game we just could not seem to get that key hit. Guy, no outs, bases loaded, 1 out, bases loaded. We're striking out. Whereas, they have to put it in play at that point, particularly the guy with 1 out. I mean, you don't want to get to 2 outs. It's hard to get a 2-out hit for sure. But, you're right. I think our bat discipline may be a little ahead of schedule. We're swinging at pitches that we know are in the zone. Even though we're not making good contact with those, we're still seem to have an idea of what our pitch is, what we need to be swinging at, and taking the others and drawing some walks. And he helped a little bit. He was wilder than maybe normal. Threw really hard, like I said, but he threw so hard. And when he was in the zone, it was hard to make contact. But he was so far out of the zone that he couldn't entice us to swing at some borderline pitches. He wasn't really borderline much. It was just all or nothing really with that kid. But hopefully, the bat discipline will continue, and then hopefully we'll be able to find the barrel more again as we just get more experience and more games under our belt.
And speaking of that, that's what's coming up now, a tournament, Wiley East, and it's on an artificial turf field, so that should be good. So I'm sure some good competition over there.
Absolutely, and when we're looking for tournaments, we're looking for as many all-turf fields as we can get, because you can, as you know, you can play on it probably 15, 20, 30 minutes after the rain ends. And so it is good competition. It's kind of set up with 2 different pools. Our pool includes Frisco, Liberty, and Lake Highlands. And so we'll play both of them on Thursday. Depending on how you do on Thursday, it's set up in a bracket, I think, for the rest of the way. So it's, this tournament, unlike the last one, you have an opportunity to win it, through bracket play. But hopefully we'll play well tomorrow and get a number 1 or number 2 seed, because that'll mean you get a bye, play later in the day on Friday, and then work from there. The other side's good bracket. It's Wiley East, it's Plano West, which of course is a big 6A school, and North Forney, who's kind of a familiar opponent, at least from a few years back. So it's 6 teams, pretty solid. 5, 6A playoff caliber teams again, and we'll go see how we match up.
Wildcats' season record is now 4-2. Wildcats track team finished second at their own Sulphur Springs meet last Friday night. The team racked up 120 points, and we get details from Wildcats track coach Matt Young.
It was a good start. First official meet of the year. Had a good turnout. We had Athens, Lindale, North Lamar, Paris, Commerce. We had a couple others just kind of come for their kids to get a chance. We had a Rivercrest thrower come, a couple of Sulphur Bluff girls just trying to see some better competition. It was a great night. Last year I think it was 33 degrees the whole meet. It was very pleasant. It was a good night, and kids did well. Start off in field events. Ryan Hammonds threw 47.5 to win shot put. That's where he finished last year, advancing to regional throwing that. So we're excited about what he's got in front of him. Radon McCormick threw in the mid-42s and got 5th. So a real strong event for us right out of the gate with those 2 guys. In triple jump, Ch.18 placed first with a 41.9. He finished the year at 42 last year, so he's got the ball rolling going into it. And then he also placed 3rd in long jump. So some good stuff from those guys in the dirt. We've got Cordarian Turner, bull. That'll be coming from basketball. And then we also found one of our JV athletes, Jermaine Cleveland, that'll help us. So really in the dirt, we really expect big things. High jump, Weston Fields went 5'10", got a new PR. He continues to prove each week. Excited to see where he goes. And then we also he placed, I believe he finished 3rd with his 5'10". And then Devin Franklin cleared 5'6", and just kind of hoping to get him in a groove. But he's got some potential on his side. The 2 mile, Christian Palomino won the 2 mile. getting a good race. Not an outstanding time, but a really good competitive race. And Jose Mejia also placed in the top 6 for us. From it going the 4x1, we ran okay in the 4x1. We were starting to stretch the marks a little bit, doing a little earlier this year than we normally do. And so we were a little off on a couple handoffs and took 3rd. 800 meter, Nabian Ramirez won the 800. I ran a 2:03. Great time for this time of year. Eli Sellers last year, I believe, ran a 2:04, 2:05 at our meet. And ended up advancing to regional and doing well. So kind of shows where Nabian is. Camden Fuller also placed in the top 6 for points in the 800. In the 110 hurdles, we didn't have anybody. I take that back. Landon Fields ran up on our varsity and placed 5th. 100 meter dash, we had Ch.18 get 3rd, ran a 11.3. And then we also had Caden Wallace run well with 11.5. In the 4x2, ran a really good 4x2, placed 2nd, ran a 1:35. Ricardo Torres, Nabian Ramirez, Bryson Lacey, and Caden Wallace. Really a time we kind of get more toward the end of the year, so we're really kind of excited where that relay goes from here. Ricardo Torres got 2nd in the quarter, ran a 52, which is ahead of his normal curve, so we're excited. I think he can go break 50 this year. It's kind of his goal. In the 200 meter dash, Bryson Lacey took a 5th. In the mile, Christian Palomino didn't run the mile. He played soccer, so he had a game that night. So he ran the 2 mile, went and played soccer, and I'm going to get back to him here in a minute. Pretty neat deal. But Camden Fuller placed in the mile, and along with Jose Mejia, they both scored points. And we finished with our mile relay. Ricardo Torres, you can see his name popping up, ran a great first leg. Then Christian Palomino shows up during the girls' mile relay and says, "Hey, can I run?" And we put him out there. He runs a great leg, and probably we're going to see what he can do this week with the mile right before it and see if he can run another strong leg. But he ran really well. Kyle Schnell hopped in and ran a good leg, and then Nabian Ramirez brought it home. We finished 2nd in the mile relay, so that's another relay starting to come together. So overall, we finished 2nd in the meet, a good, strong showing, scored 120 points. We're still shuffling some guys, seeing who can help us on varsity, who can help us on JV, but a good start to the season.
And hopefully to continue tomorrow night. I know it's raining right now, but so
I think we'll have a great day tomorrow at Royce City. I think it's going to rain all day today. We're really just hoping the throws can get in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everything else should be fine. And our last meet as we roll into spring break.
That's Channel 18 News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for joining me, and so long, everybody.